Okay, good evening, everyone. This is my multicultural assignment, and for my assignment, I picked the book The Last Stop on Market Street. And how I would introduce this is I would ask everyone if they see the like to observe the cover and just tell me what you see on the cover. And of course, people would point out the lady and the boy and the bus stop. And I would just ask, what do you think? Who do you think that these people are? They're like, oh, well, they might be blah blah blah, or somebody might say they might be characters, which is would be the answer that I would be looking for. Okay, yeah, they're characters. What makes you think that these two people and all of these people are characters in the story? And they'll say either, oh, because they're on the cover or something of that nature. And then I'll be like, okay, well, I like your thinking. So then I'll get into it. The Last Stop on Market Street by Matt De La Pena. And the pictures are by Christian Robinson. Ooh, let me get myself together. For Luna and her two grandmas, Ronnie and Reese. And for Nana. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt as it dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we always gotta wait for the bus and all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one over there drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on water on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield on a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and saged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear and placed it in his palm. Nana laughed a deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped. Lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told him. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched the cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys on hop up on curbs on bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. "Some people watch the world with their ears." "That's a fact. Their noses, too," the man said, sniffing the air. "That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am." Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in the back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana sat down her knitting. What for? You got the real life thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask that man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered. I like to close my eyes. Nana closed her eyes too. And so did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti tagged windows, and boarded up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, Me too, CJ. Now, come on. And that is the end of the book. Okay, so then following this, I would ask questions such as, okay, so based off of what we just read in the story, who were these two people? And then, of course, they would say, oh, these were the characters. This is Nana, and this is CJ, and these are the people that they met on the bus. So then we would discuss, basically I would explain to them what the characters are. Well, I would explain to y'all because I would be presenting this to you guys. Explain to you what characters are, what they do in a story, their impact in a story. And then we would, I found these online, fill out these charts on characters, on CJ and Nana. And each one, well, they're both the same. They just have the different names on the corner. So I'll just hold up one. And you see it has character trait 1, character trait 2, and character trait 3. So in the one, for CJ, like for example, you would say he's, since we're on, I mean, if you were presenting this to younger children, they wouldn't say this. But I would say this for CJ, he's pessimistic in a way. So you would say pessimistic and put your evidence here, and then so on and so forth. And then for Nana, you could put the opposite. She's optimistic and put it in here. So your evidence in there. So those are some charts I would do to sort of kind of like give them like further explain what the character is. And I had some other ones too. And also I found these character charts as well that also go further in depth about them. So basically it says, what character traits would you use to define CJ? And then they would list some character traits, maybe the same ones as on their other sheet. And then, what are CJ's thoughts and feelings? What is he thinking and what is he feeling throughout the story? Okay, describe CJ's actions. Describe him. He complains, he does this. And then using the book's descriptions, draw a clear picture of CJ. So, even though there is a picture on, I feel like at this point, whenever I'm doing this, I will sort of kind of push the book away. So, because I mean, it does mention him having a sweater and things like that. Okay, so on this one, this is the same thing except it's about Nana. So basically, my whole thing that we will be studying with this book would be characters, studying characters, how they make the story, not how they make the story, but how they sort of kind of make it what it is. And also, how you can study the characters themselves. So this was my book, and I really enjoyed this book. And this is my multicultural assignment. Okay, so I'm back again. I'm going to edit these videos together. But I think that also this book can be used for vocabulary as well. As in not only just solely for the purpose of studying characters, as I said that I would do, but I will also use it to study vocabulary. I mean, not to actually study vocabulary, but to use vocabulary words from this to help build their vocabulary and build their writing skills. For example, one of the words on the second page of the book is freckled. Like, what is freckled? How would you use freckled? What is the definition of freckled? Another word I saw was saged. So you could say, what do you mean by saged or lurched? All of these different words, kids could look up and add them to the vocabulary to help them build the vocabulary. Also, so you have your character that you can use for this book. You have your vocabulary that you could use for this book. And also, I think that it could also teach your students a lesson about being humble, because the whole time in the book, CJ is always complaining about when he doesn't have what he doesn't see, or how it's not what he would not. It's basically he doesn't have what his friends have, but in the end he appreciates what he does have because his Nana makes him appreciate what he does have. Just like in the back of the book, I really like this book, y'all. She says, where is it? Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. So basically, in the midst of everything bad, you can still find something good. And this is my multicultural assignment. I know I'm extra happy, but I just really like this book, and I'm extra as always. Well, thank you.